Oh, hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for visiting once again, and nice to see you here again. So I'm going to continue with some more steps for the Tamiya 132 scale Corsair today. I've cheated in the background whilst you haven't been here, and I've added some more components in because you know where we got to before. I've obviously put all this lot together, including the footboards, as you can see. From in here you can I'll just zero in and help you out there. You can see those foot pegs that are just quite adjacent to the rudder pedals here. So rudder pedals there, you can see that okay. Let's just give it some light, shall we? There we go. I think that should help a little. There we go, much better, eh? So you can see the rudder pedals there, these footboards. So you've got to watch yourself a bit putting these footboards in, but the port one here is actually quite helpful because there's a component you put into this framework here, which is one of the the central ribbing frames. I don't know that they're numbered in the same way that Spitfire ones are, but in a Spitfire this would be frame 10 actually, I would think, which is the or it'd be one forward of frame 10 actually. But you've got to put this component in here. And it sits in, and it does help us to put this footboard in, which means that we can get this one positioned properly, and then you can get this one in that as good as matches that one, so that they both look the same. And this is as far as I'm going to go with this particular section here, and before I get it under paint. And what we have also is the control panel, the instrument panel here, which need to be primed and painted first, as well as the starboard instrument panel here, which has a little they have transparent sections to go in behind them, so I can do that another time. So you put a decal on the back of the transparent section and then stick it into the back of this in there after that fashion, and then that sits essentially up in there like that. Now I'll just show you that again just in case you didn't see it. So that's the front of the instrument panel, and could do with some detailing, to be honest with you. It doesn't look particularly mind you, I think with the transparent part in there it should be reasonably framed up. Let's just zero right in on it. Oh, it's a little bit more detail than you think actually. So there we go. So that I've put on a piece of blue tack here, as you can see. I'll just drop that in there like that. So I'll paint them, and I'm going to just basically prime and paint this all together, but I'm not going to assemble this section any more than it is, and this takes us essentially up to step 9 here. So we'll cover off steps 9 to 13 today, and I'll go into this combing section here, and then after that the next film we'll do will be 14 and 15, 16 and so on. So let's get on with it, shall we? With no more ado. Don't need them yet. A very simple step to begin with, which is to put in this headboard section. I suppose it's a headboard section, but you never know, do you? And it sits into the top here. Let's zero in and show you that absolutely, so that you can excuse me, see that. Yeah, a pair of tweezers would probably help us here, wouldn't you think? So there we go. At the time of recording, I note that the very well loved Terry, aka Senior, is very, very unwell, I fear. Mr. Got Fuels put a in fact, go visit Got Fuel's car garage. He's a lovely bloke, and he put out a video which must have been quite hard for him on Thursday evening, saying that Senior wasn't very well. Go visit Hobby Barn. I've not met online anyway, a nicer guy than him. Gentle, kind, unself-effacing, and a genuinely nice guy. I feel certain that he will be missed by many, many people when he finally departs this mortal coil, which may not be far away, sadly. It's very, very unfortunate. So anyway, go visit Got Fuels and tell him that Zinzan sent you, and I shall be keeping an eye on what's going on with Terry there. He was answering messages last night, and well, I say answering, he was putting emoticons on messages, which is fair enough, so it's I think he's still around and still, you know, responding to things, so I was pleased with that. But go give him a like and go drop onto his last video and tell him that you're thinking of him. Anyway, this is the section that we put in for this little section here that I put on the top here for opened canopy. If you want to do a closed canopy version, then you omit this part, but that's that done right now. And what we can then do is move on and crack on with the seat here. So as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, 5 sections to the seat. We've got them all there. This section here is a photo etch part, so we're going to have to glue that in. So what I'm going to do with that is I'll glue these seat sections together, and we'll let them dry and harden a bit before we start fiddling about with the photo etch. So there are locating lugs on the vertical and horizontal sections for each side. And they're fairly easily visible. I had that on the wrong way around, as probably the more perceptive amongst you may have. Oh no, maybe I didn't actually. Oh no, I did. Anyway, I had it on the wrong way around. As the more perceptive amongst you will have guessed. This sits in just like that, so that the vertical chip fits into this section at the side there, and then the horizontal one fits in at the bottom. It's funny, when I test fitted this, it all worked perfectly, and of course now as we do it live, unedited and so on, it decides it doesn't want to. But anyway, we'll soldier on, because it will come right in a minute. I think there we go, it's clicked into place. So what we'll do with that is we'll just glue the outside, and that'll gum it up together. Have to be a bit careful with this, I think. I don't want to get gluey finger. Oh, curses. Right, we need the tweezers now. Oh, this is not going well, is it? Let's put that back on there, just like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Right, so let's just let capillary action be our friend here, and we'll just bear on that gently, not too hard, because we'll find that we'll clue up with this thing springing off. So the next section will be this one. It goes on in exactly the same way, so it's all pretty straightforward stuff really. You've got to be quite careful moving off these sprue nibs which sit on these bits, and having done that, everything is an awful lot easier. So what I'll do with this one is we'll just cement the bottom of this like that, and then let that dry for a minute, and then cement the top of it. There's too much in there. I must get a new brush, because you can see this one's a bit raggedy edged now. Now the reason why that's happened, in case you were wondering, is that when you come towards the end of these glue bottles, let's just zero out and you can see this. When you come towards the end of these glue bottles, what you can do with this is to just pull this little tube out. That makes the brush head actually poke against the floor of the glue bottle, and it splays out the brush, which is, it's not ideal, to be honest with you. Anyway, there we are. Let's move on. I'll let this dry. In fact, actually, what we'll do is I'll put that section on as well. I think, oh, that's the wrong way up. That should be the right way up. like that. So that sits in there like that. We'll do that bit because that's the railing over which the seat belt sits. So what we'll do there is just cement that up. Be careful because you know how quick capillary action, it's faster than you can run. It's very rapid indeed, in fact. So there we go. Okay, that's fine, that bears away there, that's no problem there. So that looks good. Let's just look at that under there. Yeah, that looks fine. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute and then we'll put that photo etch piece in because we'll need some super glue for that. So what I'll do is I'll make a start on these two sections here. So we're moving to step 11 here with these bar sections that sit in the oh, I've missed out B21. I haven't got part B21. I'm going to need to fish that out of the box then, but so I'll try and make it quick for myself by actually establishing what B21 sprue or B sprue looks like. So again, these locate. So as you can see, again we'll zero in a little bit on this for you. The bars are slightly off-centered in the middle here, as you can see, but you won't see very much of this anyway. I suspect we probably could just straighten that just by heating this under a finger a minute. Just gives us a little bit of chance to move that slightly. And top section sits into that little bar there, bottom section sits into that square section like that. It's all pretty straightforward stuff, as you can see. It's Tamiya and it goes together very well, as always. So I think then what we'll do with that, seat back sits in there. Let's have a quick look, see how that fits in there. That sits into the back there like that. And just give that a quick, there we go. So what we'll do there, I think, is we'll just sit that like that, so that all of the bits I need to fit in there, so that where that seat fits in, I know that's going to be okay in terms of the how that framework fits. So if I glue it in and let it harden without the seat on, of course, I mean you're way ahead of me on this one, you will know that rather a lot of glue on that, just dab that a little bit there. And gently turn it again. You will know that it will be out of kilter, and that's not really ideal. So there we go. So we'll just leave that for a minute. What we can do is we can drop this part on as well, because as you can see from, let's just move that up there a minute, out of the way. And we can zero in on that bit there. You can just about see that. No, you can't. Let's just move this down a little bit. There we go. There we are. Look, we can see this little pressurized tube here, and it sits in after that fashion. So let's drop that off there, and then we'll sit that in like that. Again, that just sits gently into its slots. There we go. And what we can do is just clamp and glue. Just make sure it's fully glued as we possibly can. Just hold on to that for a second, and that will just sit there for itself for a minute. And the other bit we need to put in here is that section there. I'll leave that for a minute. I'm gonna let that dry just for a bit. I need to find part B21 anyway, because I was very careless in not getting that piece. Although actually, since this is a different colour to the rear side, I'm not going to do that. So I mean, in terms of the colour, by the way, the colouring of this section here is going to be the canopy, sorry, the cockpit American green, the interior green, and I'm going to use this stuff. That's and it looks a pretty good colour, but they have a lot of pigment in these, and it'll be the first time I think I've used this stuff, and I'm looking forward to giving it a try. And I bought this from Man's Model Moments over in Wincanton. Give him a visit if you want to, but look him up on his channel, which has thousands and thousands of subscribers. You could become another one if you wanted, although you probably know him already, to be honest with you. But that's what I'm going to use for the internal colour. But I'm going to put that back in there. I'm going to prime it in black to start with, so we can you can make all that happen. So right, we've got those three sections done. What I might do as well whilst I'm here is we'll just look at this combing. So the combing is the thing that goes onto the top of the pilot's instrument panel. Now, what I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to show you in the book what this looks like on KD431. I'm going to have to be careful I don't put the book spine back down onto my freshly glued parts, as it were. Now, as you can see, if you want to depict KD431 in all its entirety, you're going to have to get rid of the gun sight, because the gun sight isn't there, just leaves a hole. Now, this piece of combing is, I'm going to just put that away somewhere over here for a minute. Let's zero in. As you can see with this, this decided not to work now, for goodness sake. Let's just, there we go. See this piece of combing here? There is a hole there, and I think a slight modification, just running a little bar across there, may help us in terms of making this look like the actual craft. But what you could do as an alternative is simply to put that in. In fact, actually that seems a better option, to put that in and centre it up as much as possible, and then just chop the top off it, and that will look like the gun sight was taken off, and that's probably what I'm going to do, I would think. So look, let's just put my book away back in its little bitty box on the side here, so I've always got it. I'm going to glue that in, and again, we're quick and easy here, dead simple. Make sure that's zeroed up, sorry, centered up, not zeroed up. And then what we can also do is put in the combing controls, which are machine gun controls and bomb controls as well, or you know, bomb setup controls, so that you some of them are for controlling which machine guns fire at one stage, in terms of synchronization of all six, or maybe, you know, parts or numbers of or sections of them. There we go, that just clicked straight in there. So what we'll do is we'll glue underneath that, and there we go. Capillary action once again will be our friend, and as you can see, this just sits straight in there very easily. Just tweeze that section up. Yes, we are going to need some tweezers there, I think. So we can just drop that in there. That should sit more or less straight into its little hole there. There we go. That's equally simple. It says here. No, it's not equally simple at all. Zinners, old boy, stop being so stupid. You're all saying it's not easy. You have to be patient. There we go. So we can see the slot there. Just glue into that. And then move our finger away quickly so we don't get glue splodges all over the place. So we're going to have to detail paint them quite carefully. So that's those 3 sections there. We're not going to need anything else for that combing. So that's those 3 sections done. So let's return to this seat, shall we? I'm going to need some super glue here. And also we're going to need a toothpick. And I have one of those in my little diffie box here, so I'll get one of those. And I'll do some gluing. So as you can see, the framework, let's look at the framework here. I can anoint the super glue into the bottom of this framework here and the rear side of this framework here. And then with any luck I'll just be able to drop this piece of photo etch straight onto the top of it. I have done a bit of a test fit of this, and the curved side goes uppermost after that fashion, and it just sits straight in like that. Now you can of course see how terribly easy that was without any glue there, and we'll now do a little experiment to see how jolly easy it is when there is glue on it. I'm sure it shouldn't go too badly, but that may be famous last words, and you may be chuckling at me in just a few seconds' time. Let's see what happens, eh? So a little bit of adhesive here. Trying to get the inside of that surface there, and I'm not doing this through the magnifier, so I can sort of just about see this, I'm hopeful that I don't make too much of a dog's dinner of it. So let's pick up our little component there, turn this and orientate it the right way round, and see if we can drop this in. Curses. There we go. I think, no, that's not quite there. It is now. It is now. You can hear it quite solidly sat down there, but unfortunately what we have is a situation that I didn't really want, which is that there's some glue marks on the metal. You can see that quite clearly. I showed you that. What I'm going to try and do therefore is see if I can just use a stick here to just take some of that off, and hopefully, oh, there you go, look, there we are. So we've removed those glue marks. I'm going to put that in the bin now, don't need that anymore. Just, if you have one of these lids, just take the glue off when you've done. It's probably a good idea. You don't have to, I tend to. So that's that bit sorted, and let's zero back out again, because we were kind of right in there, weren't we? So what I can do now is we'll just look and see if that goes again. Once again, these sections, it's Tamiya, it fits right on very nicely, very easily, it says here. Yeah, that looks alright. So what we can do is we'll just bond that in. capillary action deal with that. And just push those sections down there. We'll bear gently on that. So that's that bit done. You can now see the slightly oval shape of this, which matches the oval shape of the aircraft fuselage itself, and then that's magnificent as a fit. This, I mean, I think that's just great. Let's zero in on this because this is really quite excellent. So the back of the seat, as you can see, fits into these sections. So that little let's just hold that there and get the poker out. So this little section here fits into there. That section's up there and there fit into that round section there and up into the top here. And that does that on both sides. So here is the benefit of actually dropping this seat onto the top and then gluing those framework sections in to begin with. It means that now this fits straight in, and the fits there are just wonderful. They're really very good. I don't know why I say that, you know, that in such a way that it sounds like I'm surprised. I'm not really. You know, that's just the way that Tamiya operate, isn't it? I'm off camera. That's not good. Let's go out a little bit so that you can see this. I've glued this side, as you've probably seen, and I'll go to the other side. I'm applying very, very gentle pressure here, and it is genuinely very gentle pressure. Not my usual vice-like grip, as it were. And then, oh, there's rather too much adhesive on there. And we'll just push that down together. That framework's slightly out there, but not excessively. I'll just zero in and show you that. As you can see, that bar framework just in there, it's just slightly out. But with a bit of care, we can probably make that disappear, and actually it's not going to show that much anyway when you have the seat up in that sort of section like that, and there'll be fuselage all around this and goodness only knows what. So there you have that. Oh, I know why this isn't zooming very easily, because it seems to be wanting to focus. So then we get to the situation where we have the next real step is to draw all this together, but let's put it the right way round. Actually, it's a good idea, isn't it? So it draws all together like that, and there you have that up together. So there is a slight gap on this side. It's because there's a standoff there, so that's correct from what I can see. And there you have the cockpit actually done in that sense, and your coaming sits in essentially after that fashion onto the top of the instrument panel. And also the last thing that you would want to do is to put in the control column, so don't forget that. But I'm going to paint these two things separately, and then I can detail paint where I need to, and then that will be that section complete. And after that we'll be on to, once I put the glue away, do good housekeeping, shouldn't we, eh? And after that we'll be on to the pretty much onto the fuselage sections, really, as you can see here, but also the tail section bulkheads and tail sections here. So that's going to be interesting. There's a bit more photo etch to put in here, and signal flare guns and all sorts of things here to go in, which go into the fuselage. So much excitement, I think, in the next visit to Zinzan land. And to all of those of you out there in modelling land, I'd like to say thanks very much indeed for coming along today and having a little look at what I've been up to. Although my lights switched off again, that shouldn't happen. It switched off too early then by about 30 seconds, didn't it? But thanks very much everybody for looking in. Much obliged to you today, and have good modelling projects, and good luck to you all, and speak to you soon, certainly on the next one. Bye for now.